Hi, friends and listeners. I want you to join me in this journey that we're on, amplifying community voices. If you're listening right now, go ahead and sign up at www.healthcareforhumans.org/support to start co-creating an episode that matters to you. And clinicians, complete your listening experience by earning CME credits. And to all the other supporters, it's more than just about learning. It's about connecting and growing. I'm excited for all the things in the pipeline. Check out www.healthcareforhumans.org/support for more details. Now, let's get back to the episode. Hi, I'm Dr. Raj Sundar, a family physician and a community organizer. You're listening to Healthcare for Humans, the show dedicated to educating you on how to care for culturally diverse communities so you can be a better healer. This is about everything that you wish you knew to really care for the person in front of you, not just a body system. Let's learn together. Hey, everybody. I want to take this time to reflect as we come to a close in 2023. Some of you know, but I wear a few different hats as an equity leader, medical director, podcast host, and family physician. Some days involve leadership and community organizing, while others are about caring. And, as you all know me, practicing the art of interviewing, editing, and hosting. To be honest, balancing these roles alongside being a husband, father, son, and just a community member is challenging. Some days and weeks I'm better than others. But this podcast thing that we're doing, I continue to do it because it remains deeply meaningful to me. Let's do a quick recap of what's happened this year. We hit 34 episodes since our inception in May 2022. And that's over 30,000 downloads. Thank you to everybody who has downloaded it and taken time to listen to this. It really means a lot to me. And we added 2 team members, Maha, who assists in the pre-interviews and research, and Tessa, who's my co-host and co-producer. But really, this isn't about the numbers, right? It's about what fuels me to keep doing this. And part of that is how much I've grown being a host and facilitator. It's about improving my ability to communicate and facilitate, like being able to understand the unfortunate tendency of radio voice. Like, do you remember when I did this? This is Dr. Sundar, and this is Healthcare for Humans. Compared to when I finally realized I could just talk to you all, and I don't need to do this weird radio voice. And it's also about striking the balance between structure and the free flow of conversation. Like, honestly, how long can I keep you engaged before you get distracted? Because I know you're driving, doing dishes, doing errands. Take, for instance, Dr. Bhatt's episode, which was episode 8 on the history of India. It was an impressive feat to cover a history of an entire nation. I know I do that a lot, but we covered a lot of ground in India. Many listeners actually liked it, but it was challenging to think about how many dates can you remember when you're multitasking, and what are some of the most important points to learn about a country's history so you can care for them better and be a better neighbor without leaving out something that's meaningful to the community. This process has also helped me become a better listener, which we all could use practice these days. Beyond all the skills that I just mentioned, there's also a sense of purpose that I found through relationships that I get from this project. It really provides me hope amidst all the challenges that we're facing in our world and in healthcare. Like, what a gift to host a live mental health panel challenging our own local institutions' practices with guests that I met over the internet for a podcast interview. Or to find myself in Calgary, Canada, interviewing community leaders and taking a tour of the entire city, something unimaginable at the beginning of 2023. And remember interviewing Shankar Rai on episode 30, a Nepalese surgeon across the world who would have no other reason to connect with me outside of this podcast. It all gave me hope because I saw people, and I continue to see people, make change in their way, in their spheres, to create a better world. Just knowing them and talking with them helps me. This journey is even more meaningful for me as a clinician because in healthcare, we're so often siloed within our clinical practices and our healthcare institution. Many of us who continue to survive in this culture of burnout have found fulfillment where we can face these challenges together as clinicians, but also together as integral parts of our communities. Lastly, I've grown a lot in my knowledge and how I care for others. Now, this could take a long time to detail, and I need to do a better job of writing all these down. But just recently, you would have heard in episode 33 and 34 from Devin about Filipinos. And I was stuck talking about Filipino history starting from when there were Philippines, which was mostly about Spanish colonization. But Devin reminded me, hey, we existed as people before the idea of even the Philippines. We have indigenous roots and such a rich history that informs us as a people. On the same note, remember episode 20 when I talked to Toipa about Cham identity, an ethnicity that doesn't have its own country? How people often try to keep imposing an identity like Vietnamese or Cambodian. It helped me respect the idea of the uniqueness, even while we continue to try to understand broad strokes of cultures and communities, so we have a foundational starting point for better connection. I'm always trying to keep in mind that our goal is to translate our discussions into tangible change and impact. Because there's a real aversion to just talking. We talk all day, talk. When are things going to change? When are we actually going to have better systems that care and make me feel better? But I want us to hold this too. I remind myself of this. It all has to start with listening, allowing space for stories, sitting with discomfort, and remembering that not knowing what to do next is part of the journey. Yes, we need to fix it all, but we have to start with listening. And that's where this podcast starts too. Thank you again. Happy holidays, and see you in 2024. Thanks again, everyone, for joining me on another episode of Healthcare for Humans. If you liked this episode, as always, my ask to you is please share it with one other person. And go to healthcareforhumans.org to sign up to be part of the community. And lastly, thank you to Tessa Chu and Maharazaki for supporting this podcast, making sure it's the best it can be, and helping with the creation and the production of all parts of this podcast. Thanks again. I'll see you next time.